As such, I'm now honored to invite His Excellency Mr. Dorjkhand Togmid, Deputy Prime Minister of Mongolia, to deliver the keynote speech.
Well, good morning to everyone. It is my great honor and privilege to join today the Mongolia Investment Forum. The first time ever we are organizing this, and especially at the London Exchange. And this is actually, we are very much honored, and thank you very much for hosting us. And on behalf of the government of Mongolia, I'd like to express our sincere gratitude to the organizers, the CMA, Zolo, thank you very much. And also the British Embassy in Mongolia, our Her Excellency Fiona Ambassador, His Majesty's Ambassador in Mongolia, thank you very much. And also I'd like to thank John that you have also contributed wonderfully. The last 2 days it was a very good crowd, and also we had very good discussions. And also everyone, thank you very much for coming here. And let me be very short and also try to be very clear that what we are doing here and who is the Mongolia, what kind of opportunities we do have. And so please, next slide, please. Or is it here? Okay, so today I would be happy to cover the 3-4 areas that the democracy, how valuable in Mongolia, and then the economic outlook, and also the investment environment in Mongolia, and what kind of opportunities we do have, and what kind of commitment we have done so far regarding the clean energy and green transition. And so in this area, I would like to give you some information today. So move on, please. Okay. So the democracy, as you know, we are the nomads, and today Mongolia we do have like more than 30-40% of the people are nomads. And the nomad means is that we do have free spirit. When we're born, the freedom is there. In this regard, the democracy is very valuable asset to Mongolia, and we do share same values with the UK. And if you look at our parliament, we do have a parliamentarian democracy, and we at this time we have 5 political parties, and we have changed our constitution back to 2023, and we increased the number of the seats in the parliament. It used to be 76 seats, but today it's 126 seats. And if you look at the numbers that we have, like after 126 seats, we have 25% of women. So in the region, we have the most powerful women politicians who represent the people at the parliament. And we have like the youngest MP is 27 years old, and the oldest one is 73. And as you know, the Mongolia is the country of the youth. So the most people are very young, and around 60% of the people are under 35 years old. So it's very young, and we love kids, and this is the clear indication. And if you look at this, the parliamentary acceptance ratio, it is 53%, which means the people of Mongolia believe in democracy, especially the way how they see is parliament is really working good. And the Mongolians' credit rating has been also upgraded, and it is B+ now, very stable. And first time ever, we have established a coalition government with the 3 political parties, and I am one of the leader of the party. So this is the way how we actually trying to establish more stable government. And the way how we see is the next 30 years will be very promising years by having more stable policies in the long run, and also more young, energetic, the policymakers will be at the table. And just 2 days ago, the Fitch has increased the ratings, and now we have a B1 and B plus. And if you look at the Asian World Bank and others, and also economic outlook assessment by the International Monetary Fund and World Bank are very positive in the region. If you look at the economic growth, it's like in the last 10 years, the economy was pretty much growing. And then we have successfully overcome the pandemic crisis back to 2020s. And now expected the economic growth for this year would be 6.5%. And if you look at the FTI, it is also growing steadily. And the foreign trade turnovers actually today is around $30 billion. So it is also increasing. As you know that we are in between two big markets. So China is the second biggest market, and we sell all our commodities to China. At the same time, also Russia is again the number 12 the economy in the world. So we do have such kind of advantage to trade with those two countries and also the third neighboring countries. If you look at the Mongolia investment environment, is like let me start with the taxation. The value-added tax in Mongolia is 10%, but the refund is 2%. So altogether, the tax rate is 8%, which is comparatively low. And corporate income tax is started with 10%, but most people actually pay 10%. So in the region, we are the most lowest tax rate country. That's why it is one of the attractions. And also we have so far made like investment agreements with other countries and investors. And if you actually invest more than $145 million, then there will be a tax stabilization certificate for longer. And if you invest lesser, then there will be a shorter period. It will be guaranteed. So this is the way how we actually stabilize our tax environment and investment environment as well. This is the international conventions that we have joined. And as I mentioned, that the sovereign credit rating is improving year by year. And our macroeconomic policy, together with the fiscal policy, monetary policy, is quite stable. And our debt ratio to GDP is around 40%. So we are maintaining very prudent macroeconomic policies, and that's why the credit rating is actually quite good now. A lot of countries now downgrading, while Mongolia is actually upgrading, and this is a clear signal. And so far, we do have this double taxation agreements with the 26 countries, and the foreign investment protection and promotion agreements we had done together with the 43 countries. And we actually had drafted the foreign direct investment law, and will be submitted to Parliament, I think, in 1 month, and will be approved by Parliament within this year. And the principle is that we are offering this stable policies, environment, and also rule of law, because country is a country of democracy. So in the region, we do have very strong democracy. As a result, everything is ruled by law. And non-retroactive laws and enforcement of contractual obligation, transparency, and openness are very clearly reflected in the draft law. So the basic principle is that if you invest in Mongolia, then investment will be protected, and we won't change anything from now on. And we will secure the long-term, the stability of the investment agreement. And of course, if you go back to your country with your returns, then we will secure it. So this is a basic ideas. Whatever opportunities we have is that yes, the country is the nomads, as I mentioned. That so if you look at the numbers of the livestock, we have around 60 million livestock. So around 50 million sheep and goat, and we have like around 4 million horses. So each family has one horse and one or two cows, and so this is we have, and we actually really close to the nature. As you know, many people thought that Mongolia is kind of brown country because we actually use the brown coal to make power. But in fact, we actually very green country. And I think if you ask who is the country who is closer to the environment or the earth on the, in the world, that would be Mongolia, because more than 30-40% of the people are actually nomads. And they live in a rural areas together with the environment, together with the animals, So this is very traditional way of the living we do have. So in this regard, we do have a lot of chance to do in the meat export, meat processing, production of dairy products, and high-tech greenhouse farming. And obviously, the Kashmir is one of the advantages in Mongolia. So this is the numbers that we also do have advantage. And of course, the minerals. Mongolia is known the country of the minerals because we have a big land compared with our people. We have like 3.5 million people, while we have number 17 of land. So it's a half of India. And why it's a mineral is because, as you know, that our climate is very dry. And underground, we do have a lot of resources. And then the good thing is that second biggest market is next to us. So that's why we actually do export coke and coal, the copper. I think in copper we are number 3 in the world, number 3, 4, and coke and coal and gold, and also the iron ore, etc. So these actually main products, and now the Mongolian land, as you know, that it is only more than 30% of the land has been surveyed. So around like 60 to 70% of the land has not been recovered yet, untouched. In this regard, yes, there are a lot of potentials that we can do a lot of mining in this sector, and the market is over there. And as you know that today, the most important the materials is basically rare earth and critical elements. And Mongolian, like western part of the land, has not been discovered yet, while this Chinese rare earth and critical mineral deposit actually on the right side, neighbor with our border. So we see that there are a lot of deposits underground would be ready to be discovered. And so this is one thing I'd like to say. So there are like uranium and crude oil that we are exploring now. We have signed with Orano, the French company, like 6 months ago to explore Mongolia uranium, and hopefully Mongolia uranium exploration will be, I think, in number 3 or 4 pretty soon. And yes, there are a lot of potentials that in the mining sector. But I didn't want to talk about more in the mining sector. I wanted to talk about energy today. Because we have a lot of resources underground of the energy. When I was working for the International Monetary Fund back to 2015, by that time the data says that we are actually number 5 country in terms of resource of the energy underground, among 200 countries. But today we do have more resources above the ground. That is renewables. That is solar, the wind. Why? Because We Mongols live on a high altitude, mountain areas. As a result, we do have very strong wind, and we are closer to the sun, which means a very sharp sun we have. Almost 300 days we have sunny days. So I wish to bring the sun from Mongolia to London. And you see, this is a dry country, and that's why this solar panels at the same time also wind farms are very efficient in Mongolia. In this regard, we do have around 3.3 thousand gigawatt the resource, 3.3 terawatt resource of the sun and wind we have. Potentially, some specialists say that we have 14 terawatts resource of renewables. While the Chinese Chinese capacity of production of the energy is 2 terawatts. So we can easily provide the electricity to China. And a lot of people would ask that what would be the cost. So regarding the cost, I would say it would be less than 2 cents in Mongolia. Why? Because land is big. And as you know that we can use only less than 2% of our land to grow the food. Other and rest of the land is empty, and nomads are there, animals are there. So that's why it is a great destination to park all those kind of green energy sources in Mongolia. And this is just, please keep in mind. And one comparison I would like to say is that price of electricity in China is like 6 to 7 cents per kilowatt. It's a subsidized price. And we are talking with Chinese authorities to export the electricity over there. At the same time, also Korea and Japan is also, we are engaging to export the clean energy to those countries. Back to 2010, there was an initiative, it's called Asian Super Grid. If you remember that there was an earthquake and tsunami, as a result, the Fukushima, the nuclear power plant has been wiped out, and as a result, Japanese were looking for very sustainable source of energy, and they've been talking about why don't we buy the energy from Mongolia? And that initiative has been made by the private sector, specifically it is the SoftBank. And they started investing $10 billion in Mongolia. But unfortunately, by that time, there was some misunderstanding between the Japan and China. As a result, the project was stuck. But now, well, thanks to our dear friend Trump, President Trump, and tariff, so the market's actually getting together. And as you know, the Europe is getting together. At the same time, also the Asians, we call it three big, is the China and Japan and Korea. They actually moved in the market and working as a big market. So this is going on. Actually, this gives a good opportunity for us to export our the energy. Why? Because the price is high over there. In Korea, price of the electricity is like 18 cents per kilowatt, while in Japan it is 26 cents. I was informed in UK it is like around 30 cents, right? While we have very cheap and clean energy, the cost would be 2 cents, And because of technology is growing very rapidly, which actually the boost in the demand of the clean energy, while we do have that resources. And please, I'd like to give you this information for your attention. And yes, now we used to be called the land of the minerals, but Mongolia is now the land of the energy and land of the blue sky, And so far, Rio Tinto is one of the successful cases that they actually invested $15 billion. And this is one of the largest copper mining deposit. And WeCom, the representative of Mongolia, is here today, and they have invested, I think, 10 years ago, 50 megawatt capacity wind turbines, and it's still going well, and they are looking for the expansions. And the uranium project, as I mentioned, that the uranium company has been signed, and they are starting the investment in Mongolia. So the lady showed me the red signs. I have to finish. So then I'd like to say that yes, my country is the country of democracy, and also the country of the opportunity. And market is there, and people are nice, kind, and we also very much welcome everyone to visit us. And then this platform is really important that we actually try to understand each other, and then definitely we're going to achieve the good result and a very good cooperation. So thank you again. Thank you very much. So hope this event goes in good. Thank you.